Hello, welcome. We're going to look very briefly at the template, thesis template, and I'm also going to look at styling. And I have a blank template to start with, just to get an idea of how the styling. If you understand how styling works, it'll make it easier to work with the thesis template. The benefits of using the template here is that once you have your numbering and your indentation sorted through the styles, it means that when you add paragraphs or subtract sections or paragraphs, it's simply a matter of styling the heading of those paragraphs and updating the table of contents. So there's no messing around trying to renumber pages or renumber table of contents to reflect the pages. It's done automatically. So just a very brief look first of all at just some general principles of styling and formatting in Word. And I'm going to drop in a lump of text from just a basic text editor into Word, and you can see there's no formatting in it as it is. Now we could go ahead and try and format it with the various styles, but the first thing we have to do is we have to tidy this up, because in a lot of cases if something is just copied and pasted, it's going to have unwanted characters or characters which don't present themselves well in Word. And one of them is a line feed, which is a general characteristic of normal text or plain text readers or plain text tools, and we actually need paragraphs in place of those. So the way to do this is to switch on the paragraph or the formatting symbols, and we'll be able to see what we're looking at now. Now you can see here, for instance, we have that little symbol which is a line feed, and that will give us all kinds of problems when you try and format in Word. So we have to remove that, and the way we remove it is we delete it and then we press enter again, and when we press enter it doesn't put a line feed in, it puts a paragraph mark, and you can see there that's the symbol for a paragraph indicator in Word. So what we've got to do is we've got to replace all these with that paragraph indicator, and then we should be good to go. Okay, now we've ensured that we've got paragraphs and no line feed characters, and we can just very quickly scroll down through, and we can see that's indeed the case. There's one I've just seen. I'll remove that. Just a final check, make sure everything is okay, and notice that there's pretty much no formatting on this text as it's in there, and we're going to change that now. Now if we look at the top line here, we can see various styling options here, and if you actually expand that window full, you'll see even more. We can scroll through the various styling by clicking on the down or the up button as appropriate. And the first style we're going to apply to this whole section is the normal template, or the normal style. And at the moment the normal style is, if we look on it to modify, we can see what it is. Normal style is Tahoma, and it's 11 point, and it seems to have some paragraph. The paragraph formatting is that it's got some space above. We're going to change this before we apply it, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the correct paragraph formatting for the normal style, and we're going to do it by clicking on Format and Paragraph. We can see at the moment it's 0 point before and 0 afterwards. We're going to change that up to we're going to change it to 11, and that's the size of the font. So it's almost a line before and a line after. And we're going to change from single line to 1.5 line spacing, and we're going to press OK to that and OK to that. And now we're going to apply this style to the whole document to start off with. So Control A highlights the full document, and we simply click on the normal page formatting, and that should apply that formatting to the whole paragraph. You can see automatically it's now put our paragraph spacing in here, and this is the correct way to do it. Between any section there should be only one paragraph marks. I think it's typical of people to generate paragraphs by pressing line feed several times, and we're left with blank paragraphs. That's not really the way to do it, and you don't get a consistent document then. So by doing it through the style and applying the style, it means that wherever we come across this style, we're going to have this correct paragraph spacing. Now we're going to make some of these sections. You can see that some of these sections are actually headings already. So we're going to make, we're going to apply the styling, the heading stylings to these various parts of the document, and we're going to show how that's worked into a table of contents. And imagine that this Higgs boson chapter is only one chapter from a document which contains many different chapters. So we're going to give the chapter heading the primary heading style, which is heading 1. And the way we do that is we select it and we choose the heading 1 option. And we can see that we've now given it a number 1. And before I go on, because it looks a little bit untidy to work with, I'm going to switch off our formatting character marks so that we can see it as it looks in the document. So there we go. So we can see that that's heading 1 style. It's and it applies the number 1 to the front of that chapter. And if we were to, let's say we made this let's say that's a chapter that's in there before it, we can choose to apply that one styling again, and you can see that the various chapters are indicated that way. Now we have a section under the chapter, and we call this section introduction. So we're going to apply the next heading style to that, and it's going to be heading style 2. You can see it there. So we can click on that and click on apply that heading style to it. And we can move down through the document applying that style to the various headings. And in this case we've got we can see there's an extra paragraph mark in here that shouldn't be there, and we can see that by looking here, so we can remove that, switch that back off. We're going to choose heading 2 for these, and now we've come to a section. This is also heading 2, but you can see we've got some subsections under that section 2.5. We've got hadron, tevron, and data collection. So we're going to change these to a different style, and because it's a subheading of heading 2, we're going to select it and choose heading style 3. And we can see that it's applied the correct numbering system. It's gone from 2.5 to 2.5.1, and if we choose this one and apply that again, and this one and apply that again, you can see it's 2.5.1, 2.5.2, 2.5.3, and so on. And now we're going to go back to the heading style 2 for this one, and now we've moved on to 2.6. So we can continue through the document, updating it in that way with the different heading styles until we're finished. So now we're going to create a page break here, and we're going to use our first page for our table of contents. And the table of contents is done by clicking on references, and on the left hand side you'll see table of contents, and you can see there's different styles for that table of contents. And we're going to choose one of the predefined styles there. We can choose an option to tailor it ourselves, but we're going to apply one of the ones below, and we're going to call it, you can see the way it can be called, contents or table of contents. We're going to call it contents. And now you can see our contents table is in, and you can see it's applied the correct page numbering, and it's applied all the heading style, all the headings which have been styled as type header 1, 2, or 3. Go back onto the heading page again. So we can see that now our table of contents is indeed up to date. Now let's say we wish to insert something into the document that we haven't got already, and we want to let's say we want to put something under section 3.5, and it's another subsection, and it's got a good bit of information in it. And I'm going to just copy something out here which I've already got in. I'm going to move down to that part of the document, where we want to insert it. And you can see we want to insert it before the recent pages, but let's say in the middle between the Teveron and data collection. It's before the title for that section. So I'm going to insert it here, and I'm going to just check out that there's no carriage returns in it, and it looks all clean. I'm going to apply the styling to that section, and we can do the styling by using our format painter over here on the left hand side. We could select a section that has the correct style, click on format painter, and we can copy that style in there, which is what we want. And now I'm just going to put a new header for this. And I'm just going to call it timeline, and it gets the standard default style we've just been using in that section. But now I'm going to change it to, remember, it has to be heading type 3. So I'll select the timeline, just switch that off to tidy it up, select the timeline and choose timeline 3. So you can see it's gone in there, and it's shifted. This has gone from 352 to 353. So it's inserted itself correctly there, as it would if it was a bullet point. And now what we wish to do is we wish to apply that same change to our table of contents. And we simply do this by hovering over the table of contents, right click with the mouse until we see an option to update field. And we click on that, and we get two options here, and we choose the update entire table option. Once we've chosen that, if we look down, now we have our new timeline section in here.